Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports, Stare Down Greatness. And man, episode 250. Crazy to think that we're a quarter of the way to 1,000. It was great. It's crazy. Got a little thing notified me, I think it was like a couple weeks ago. It's like, congrats on 3 years. It's like, it's been 3 years already. Shit been flying, but man. Not only is it episode 250, it's June 3rd, man, so you know what that officially means. It's breakdown season. Now, I won't lie to you. I need to have a little bit more time to break down stuff, so the breakdowns are probably coming next week. So this week's episode is going to be fairly simple. We're just going to go over some news today. There's some small NFL stuff to go over. There's some there's some stuff for college football I'd like to go over as well. And then after that, I'll give you the plans for Thursday because there is some. That's when we'll kind of start our breakdowns. It's pretty much Thursday, and then I'll give you plans for what to look forward to next week. So yeah, without any further ado, I think we should hop right in. So let's hop right into it, and let's go over some NFL news. So the first thing we're to talk about, apparently Kyle Pitts is dealing with a muscle strain in his foot at OTAs. So I would assume they aren't even going to risk it, and they're probably not going to have him go at all during OTAs. But something interesting, I guess, is there's been a lot more talk recently about Kyle Pitts and his future in Atlanta. Apparently multiple teams have already reached out, and they're trying to figure out, hey, is this guy available or what's up with this Kyle Pitts guy? And I think that, honestly, for Kyle Pitts, I think it'd be awesome for him to get out from Atlanta. He just hasn't had a good start to his career in Atlanta. I mean, it's a crazy stat. I got this saved. So his touchdowns by year. Rookie year, 1 touchdown. Second year, 2. Third year, 3. Fourth year, 6. I'm just kidding, it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 as it goes by each year. So at this rate, expect 5 touchdowns this year, but it's one of those things now, honestly, with Kyle Pitts that I'd almost like to see a change of scenery for him. It's just crazy to think also, too, that he's 24 years old entering his 5th season in the NFL. This guy has so much. It's coming to a point now where it's like, is it the Falcons holding him back or is it Kyle Pitts holding Kyle Pitts back? I would like to say it's the Falcons, and I want to see him on a different team just because, like I said, he's only 24 years old, man. The guy has so much potential. He had 1,000 yards as a rookie, but he hasn't come close to 1,000 yards since. I mean, apparently, per 17 games played per season, he's averaging 55 receptions for 739 yards and 3 touchdowns. And like I said, that mainly helps with him having 3 and 4 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. But I guess we're basically going to have to keep our eyes on Kyle Pitts because it seems like, as I said, a bunch of teams are kind of trying to figure out what his future's looking like. So they're mulling options there. So Kirk Cousins might not be the only guy from Atlanta that's going to get moved on from. Now, as of right now, I doubt they trade him, but, I mean, if they get the right deal, I would not be shocked. It's just, man, he's so young. It's like he's only 24. Like, he's been in he's going into his 5th season. He should be able to at least give him another, 10 to 12, assuming his body holds up. CJ Stroud is getting limited at OTAs, but it sounds like it shouldn't be an issue. He's dealing with a shoulder muscle issue, but it sounds like he should be good. There's D'Amico Ryan's come out. There's no concerns with CJ. It's just a general soreness. We're taking extra precautions with him, but he'll be good to go. No concerns on my end there, which is good because obviously it's very early on in the season. You're glad it's just like a muscle issue and it's not like something that should hamper him. But man, it just sucks for them that we're not even like 2 months away from 93 days. We're 93 days away from week 1, and that's enough time, obviously, for him to heal. I mean, it's basically 3 months, but still, it's something, obviously, you shouldn't worry about. It's just something to just basically keep an eye on, where it's like, all right, so if he dealt with shoulder soreness in the offseason, is it really going to affect him coming into the season? Which it really shouldn't, and for the Texans, hopefully, for them, it doesn't, because if you're a Texans fan, I mean, you're looking at a chance to run this division for, another 2-3 years with, I would say, almost no contention, depending on what happens with the Colts. Jaguars feel like they're 2 or 3 years away. Titans feel like they're for sure 2 or 3 years away. It basically just comes down to what are the Colts going to do. If the Colts are not just a corpse for this whole season, then there's a really good chance that they could give the Texans some competition. But like I said, as of right now, the Texans are the team to beat in the AFC South. They have proven it the last 2 years, even if it hasn't been totally super proven. Apparently, the Steelers and TJ Watt are discussing a new contract. It came out, I think, on the Pat McAfee show last week sometime. They basically have offered him. Was it last week? I think it was last week, yeah, where they basically, the Steelers have at least offered him a deal. It's just, he hasn't basically. There's no been answer back on TJ's side if they've accepted it, if they've declined it, if they want a bigger deal, anything like that. But all expectations right now point to these teams are probably going to figure it out by the time the season starts. I think TJ Watt's a guy they definitely do not want to leave on the sidelines or potentially not even have on their team. But it's going to be interesting where his price range falls. Myles Garrett signed a 4-year, $160 million, $124 guaranteed. The next closest edge rusher, Danielle Hunter, 35.6 average per year. So, I mean, you're looking at $40 million, 35.6 average. Micah Parsons also needs a deal done this offseason. There's a lot of questions about these pass rushers, or I guess the pass rushers, edge rushers, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of questions about some of these guys and what's going to happen with them. Myles Garrett was obviously the first domino to fall. He fell a couple months ago. And now it's kind of just, all right, is the market going to get reset with TJ Watt where it's going to be like 41, 42 million, 40.1 million? Or is it going to be the other way where he takes like 35, 37, a little bit closer to Danielle Hunter? And, yeah. That's just basically what the next thing to look at for TJ Watt. And also for the Steelers, what is going on with their quarterback situation? Is Aaron Rodgers coming? Joe Mixon, it was in a walking boot. He should be good, though. It's a lower body injury. They said he was in a boot, but he should be good for the season. And apparently he got this injury during a workout. The only issue is they say it's a minor injury, but he's in a boot. I mean, I guess it is a thing where it's like he could have just severely rolled his ankle, and it's like out a couple weeks. Like I said, this is another one of those things where it's like the nice part is the season is really, really far away, so we got enough time where if he's able to heal it right and do what a professional athlete should, he should be fine. It's just at worst, you might be fearing fear of a what's the word? Re-injury. I mean, I guess re-injury. Re-aggravation. That's, I guess, re-aggravation I was looking for. But that is kind of a fear potentially, especially with an older running back. Is a lower body injury, so that's just another thing just to be aware of. I don't think it will affect Joe Mixon too much at all. And fantasy-wise, I don't think I'm going to draft him. I've looked at some fantasy drafts a little bit. I don't know. I'm a little bit indifferent on him, but I'm not. Hearing this injury about his foot doesn't sway me either way. It's just one of the things where it's like, well, that isn't the best of signs that he's dealing with an injury, but like I said, it sounds like he should be good. This one, and when it comes to injuries, this is one that's going to be really fascinating. Stephon Diggs apparently has been running full routes without a knee brace at practice. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean he's in football shape, nor is he ready to play football. But the fact that he's running without a knee brace and he's running these almost full routes, basically, makes me feel like there was some rumors that Stephon Diggs, I think I brought it up potentially Thursday, that he might end up on the PUP. Which is physically unable to perform list, and that he might miss the first 4 games of the season. Starting to look like maybe that might not be the case now. Now it's starting to look like, hey, if he's running full routes and it seems healthy from the couple videos that have been out, I mean, he might ready to go by week 1. It's been a wild couple days for Stephon Diggs. He gets that whole boat incident that happens, then it comes out. It looks pretty decent running with his injury and everything. It's something to keep an eye on. Another one of those things to keep an eye on, because I've truly at this point, I won't say I'm going to be shocked if he ends up on the PUP, but I mean, if you're hearing him doing like full on, if he's running 4 routes and he doesn't have the knee brace on and he's already starting to get like basically to that healthy point, you would think that he probably will be ready to go for year 1. If you remember, he signed a 3 years, $69 million deal that realistically, after you dig through all the weeds and get out the jungle to see the actual light at the end of it, it's basically a 1-year deal with a lot of I think it's like 1 year, $15 million with a lot of incentives added on. And basically they have control of like, all right, if the season goes well, we'll, I think, extend it, stuff like that. If the season doesn't go well, obviously, we'll just trade you, terminate the contract, one of those situations. So, yeah, Stephon Diggs might be good to go by week 1, and that would be really helpful for Drake May to have just another really good receiver. The only thing with Stephon Diggs, though, is the drama. How is the drama going to be? I mean, because basically at every stop he's been at, there's been some drama surrounding him, which, not shocking, wide receiver. Not going to use the D word, but diva. No, in all seriousness, though, I mean, you know how it is with Stephon Diggs. He does come with a decent amount of baggage. He is a really good player, though, so when it's good, but when it can kind of get bad sometimes. So when it comes to Stephon Diggs being ready for week 1, it sounds like he might be good to go, which is going to be awesome for the Patriots, like I said, because more offensive weapons they can get for Drake May, the better, because they have a chance to really do something this year, especially with Mike Vrabel at quarterback. Or, excuse me, a head coach. I don't know why I said quarterback. I guess this is why I said quarterback, because we're going to talk about the Cleveland quarterback situation. The Cleveland Browns. As of right now, it sounds like there's two QB battles going on. There's Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett for the starter, which it sounds like that Joe Flacco is, per The Athletic, is going to be the starter. It's not going to, and as of right now, it's not going to be a rookie starter. So, as of your plans for Week 1, it's Joe Flacco versus Kenny Pickett. That's one of the battles. The other battle is Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel. I don't know why I just I'm about to say Gabriel Davis. Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel. I'm assuming that's the battle for the 2 and 3 quarterback, and I'm assuming the winner of Joe Flacco versus Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett wins, I'm assuming Joe Flacco's going to ask for a trade. It get traded. If Joe Flacco wins the battle, do they just cut Kenny Pickett? I don't think there's going to be anybody in the league who wants to trade for him, and if they do, it's going to be like probably a 6th or 7th rounder, and to just bring him in as a backup. But this is something that really was fascinating to me. I learned Kenny Pickett set his career high in passing touchdowns his rookie year, and it was only 7. And after that, he has not had more than 7 passing touchdowns in a season. So it's like, oh, that's actually like really, really concerning. Why would you want him starting at quarterback? So if that's the case, fantasy-wise, not only is that going to be good for a lot of Browns players if Joe Flacco's starting, sounds like it's going to be a slight bit better for the team if you're trying to win games, obviously, but who knows? The Browns aren't going to be good next year. I mean, regardless, they're trying to build to the following season. I think next year's going to be kind of like a what's the best way? I guess just like a lame duck season. You aren't wasting the year next year, but it's very clear the Browns aren't going to do much of anything. It's going to be a good developmental year for a decent amount of their guys. And, I mean, like, they lost Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Losing him already in the offseason is a huge loss as well. So, when it comes to the Browns, yeah, sounds like Joe Flacco is going to be the starting quarterback as of right now, and that's per The Athletic. And it's going to be Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett starting with Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel being a backup in that case. Apparently, speaking of Gabriel Davis, Gabe Davis is going to be visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, it sounds like. Crazy. He signed a 3-year, $39 million deal in 2024 last year with the Jaguars, and then he struggled with them. Only had 20 receptions for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. Missed the final 6 games, due to injury, and then he ended up getting released by them this offseason after the whole regime change and everything. Apparently, Pittsburgh has been out there looking for additional receivers, so they spoke to the Dolphins. We talked about that, about trading Jonnu Smith, but it's basically, I don't think the Dolphins will trade Jonnu Smith, it sounds like, at this point. So, not shocker that, I mean, Gabe Davis shouldn't be a horrible option for the Steelers, but, I mean, they need to. This seems like a straight Steelers move, doesn't it? Gabe Davis sounds like, especially Gabe Davis at this point in his career. That sounds like a guy the Steelers would pick up. Get a cheaper veteran guy in that can be pretty decent. Like I said, we talked about Stephon Diggs, and they have 2 more optional workouts this week. So it's going to be interesting to see if Stephon Diggs has any more practice as the week goes on. There's been some speculation about Travis Etienne being traded. It sounds like that is not going to be the case. Steve Cohen came out on Monday, said he's done a great job. He's like, I don't really understand some of the stuff I've seen out there. That's absolutely inaccurate. Every day, everything we've asked him to do, he's done at a good click for us. So, I mean, yeah, it sounds like there's been a decent amount of people who said that. Wait, what? Rich Viewments includes James Manager, doesn't hold a high opinion. Oh, okay. It sounded like potentially that they might move on from Bigsby and potentially ETN, just because it's a whole new. It's not only is it new ownership, or not new ownership, new head coach, new GM, some of that stuff. They also brought in Byshal Tootin and LaQuint Allen as running back. So there's some speculation there from a lot of insiders, a lot of just football people in the know that are looking there, just like, oh, so if they got these 2 running backs, does that mean they're going to get rid of ETN or Bigsby? But as of this current time and being, it sounds like they're just going to have 3 running backs, most likely. Excuse me, I don't know why I just need a yawn, but I can't. Do you ever have that feeling? Just like, this is going to be a way off topic. Do you ever have that feeling of you need to yawn, but like you just can't yawn? Like it's a quick yawn burst, but if you just let that big yawn out, you'd be good. Kind of where I'm at now, where I just keep giving out these like quick little machine gun fires of yawns when it's just like, man, just let me yawn. Let me get it out of the way. But yeah, it sounds like Travis Etienne is going to stay with the Jaguars. That's not anything to be worried about. Big loss for the Lions. Frank Ragnow announced his retirement on Monday. He came out in a post and pretty much said he had to listen to his body. He's been trying to fight it off, but his body won't let him. Body pretty much won't let him play anymore, which it's really sad, man. He's only 29 years old. He's played over 2,000 snaps at center across his career, which is crazy. But, yeah, he basically came out in the Instagram post and basically said his body he wanted to try to fight it, but he could tell that his body wasn't basically telling him, like, hey, we don't got any more in the tank. And he said he wanted to have a good future with his wife and family, because I bet you he could have pushed through, but that he would have been really, really hurting later on in his life, because this is the same Lions center who played with a broken, as a trachea, I think, or something broken in his neck. He also played with a torn pec last year. So this is a guy who's a super, super tough dude. I think I read also that he's been dealing with a chronic foot issue potentially as well. So this is a guy who just literally can't stay healthy, but is playing in all these games. And basically his body just couldn't take anymore, and he's realizing, like, hey, I made a good amount of money. I just can't. He's drafted 20th overall in 2018, so yeah, he's made a good amount of money. He's played a good amount of seasons in the league, and he's just like, man, I can't. My body just can't do it anymore. I gotta stop. So that's shout out to him for being able to just know your body and being able to do that, because that is a very, very tough decision to make, especially when you're only 29 years old and you feel like, hey, I could probably play a few more years. Who cares if I can't walk at the end of my life? Like, I want to keep playing. So to be able to make that decision to say, like, hey, I know I want to be able to walk later, I want to be able to do this, I got to stop early. Truly, truly inspirational. I want to give a shout out to Saquon Barkley, who has been named the 2026 Madden cover athlete. The cover photo is him doing his backward turtle, which was probably one of the highlights of the season. For sure highlight season. I don't know why there's any questions about that. Joe Burrow came out and said if he played better, they would have made the playoffs in 2024. I think it's absolutely false. They went 9-8, but they started off. They started off 4-8, and they ended up finishing the season with 5 wins, finished at 9-8. But yeah, he had arguably one of the best years of his career. He had 460 completions for 4,900 yards and 43 touchdowns. It wasn't on Joe Burrow. That defense was horrible. And if you talk to any expert, anybody who like that, Joe Burrow truly had an MVP season that was just forgotten about because of how bad their team was. Potentially was his best year of his career, and Jamar Chase wins the Triple Crown. And like I said, they go 9-8 and don't even make the playoffs because their defense was that horrible. And their solution to it was they haven't signed back Trey Hendrickson yet. They let Lou Anarumo walk, which probably wasn't the best of decisions, because if you look back, year by year, the last couple years, they just keep losing defenders and they aren't replacing them with the guys at the same level. So it's one of those situations where it's like, man. And then the Bengals, like I said, this year they paid Jamar Chase, they paid T. Higgins, but they won't play Trey Hendrickson, who's a really good defender that they could use. It's just, bad situation all around. So to Joe Burrow, I would say, it's not on you, man. There's a reason it's a team sport, and it just sucks because, you can play so good and it just not matter. Matt LaFleur said that I think there's a narrative out there for whatever reason that he wasn't as productive as the year before. Well, he missed a significant time. He missed the better of 3 games. This is Matt LaFleur talking about Jordan Love taking a step back last season. There's a lot of people who thought that he didn't play the best. He just didn't. I just don't think he had a good season last year. I think Jordan Love will be fine. I just think it's a mix of I do kind of agree as well. I think it was partial injuries last year. I just think he played bad. And not only he just played bad, he's a little bit hurt. I mean, it could be something similar to the Quinn Ewers situation where, Quinn Ewers did come back from the injury, but he just wasn't right. It could have been a situation where Jordan Love came back and he suffered a knee injury late in the season opener against the Eagles, which it sidelined him for, I think, like 3 games or so, and then he came back. Yeah, it's one of those situations where you just got to think, like, I just tossed it up to, like, he probably got hurt at the beginning of the year, which he obviously did, and it just wasn't right enough, and no matter what he did, he just didn't feel confident on it. It just wasn't right, so the season just went a little more poorly for Jordan Love than we all expected because, like I said, he came back, but he wasn't fully himself. We talked about the Kyle picks. Apparently, Dan Campbell expects Jameson Williams to have a huge season entering 2025. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. There's so much versatility with him. There's so many things we can do just with his routes on the outside. I mean, we can do things inside just with his speed. He's gotten so much stronger. I really hope that is the case because he is one of those dudes who truly feels like he can break open the game, but I don't know. It just feels like Sometimes he just has quieter games where they don't use him at all. Other games it's his doing. It just feels like, man, I feel like he should do a little bit more than he does. And it's just like I said, I don't know if it's because they don't use him enough, if he's not getting enough targets, if he's not working hard enough. Like, I don't know if it's any of those things. Could be none of those things. You just look at Jameis, and they have so many weapons on their offense, like, it kind of also makes sense why he doesn't get it. You just look at it, it's like, man, that's a dude who makes sense they want to get him the ball more. The Eagles apparently are working on a trade to trade Brian. I think this has already been, I guess not working on, it's probably not the best of terms. I think this is already, like, official now. Bryce Huff, they traded to the San Francisco 49ers. Let me double check to see if I can find what the actual, so it sounds like, yeah, Bryce Huff got traded to the 49ers for a mid-round pick in 2026. He already reworked his contract to help facilitate the trade. Obviously, it went official June 1st, so yeah, they were just waiting for the June 1st from this article. He's slated to make $17 million in fully guaranteed money this season, but the Eagles will take on $9 million of it, and the 49ers will take on the rest of the $7.95 million. Yeah, the biggest thing with him, it sounds like he's going to be a good piece. He's just been really inconsistent. Apparently, he has 20 sacks of his career, which is 5 seasons, but half of those came in 2023, so it just seems like it's one of those things where he could potentially be with Robert Saleh there, I think it will be really good for them, especially with how kind of weak their schedule is. The Minnesota Vikings announced that they're going to extend GM Adolfo Mensa. So I don't know how far they extended him. I don't know if it's been announced yet. But they signed Kevin O'Connell to extension in January. They signed Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah to a deal a couple days ago, and it makes sense with how good the Vikings have become. He owned through his past 3 seasons, those two together, Adolfo-Mensah and O'Connell, they're 34-17, 2 playoff appearances, and last year they went 14-3, had a really good season. Not shocking at all that they extend him. Makes a lot of sense there. Mahomes, we already talked about that last week. Apparently Shannon came out and said McCaffrey's as healthy as he can be. Christian is ready as any player I've ever been around. When he gets hurt, he gets to rehab and get better. Right now, he's healthy as can be. We've got to kind of protect him from himself, but Christian's has a good idea of what he needs to do right now. He's doing a lot less than he normally would do, but I know he's excited and how healthy he feels, the fact that he can get out there. Going to be interesting to see what happens with him, because, yeah, that was a really kind of sad deal last year, but, him coming to the season hurt and then basically saying, no, he's fine, and then, yeah, he was not fine. So it's going to be... Makes sense, too, because he's coming off, I think it was before that, like 2 straight seasons of, like, having a heavy workload and not getting too hurt. So I don't want to say he was due, but based on Christian McCaffrey's history, it seems like he was going to be probably have a good chance of getting hurt. He did get hurt last year, and I really hope he does stay healthy, because when he's healthy, he's awesome. One of the best backs in the league. It's just he's almost too explosive for his own body to where he just has his issues. And that's gonna be it for the NFL portion. Yeah, that was pretty much the last part. Very, very excited, man. And like I said, we're 93 days away. The NFL season is gonna be here before we know it. So we're gonna end it with pretty much. There's 2 things I want to talk about in college football. That's it. Only 2 things, and then we'll explain how the rest of the week's gonna go. First thing I want to bring up is the SEC is apparently gonna have a fine system now for $500K for storming the field or storming the court. And I thought there was something about taking down the goalpost, but that's it. The motivation was field rushing. All right, here we go. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The motivation was field rushing for the first time or the 18th time. Commissioner Greg Sankey said on Thursday. This was last Thursday. Announced his decision. The random nature of it. If you're the one getting rushed, it doesn't feel good. It might be the first time it happened there, but it might be your 6th time in a row, literally. I just think. Okay, a new policy replaced the old one that called for an escalating fine structure. This started with $100,000 for the first offense and raised to $250 for the second, then hit $500,000 for the third and subsequent incidences. So basically, all they're doing is they're taking out the first 2 parts and they're making the final part. So now instead of saying like, all right, you get a 3-strike system, it's like, all right, your first strike is your 3rd strike, and you're going to get charged the same amount every time. I'm assuming with how much money they, I love this comment. This comment explains it best. They will storm the fields, and the schools will pay the fines. That is the best way to put it. I think the school will pay the fine every time. I don't think it will stop anything. I just think that pretty much this just sounds like a pretty stupid way to be like, hey, give the SEC more money, or I don't know who this money goes to. I just don't know who the money's going to go to, but it just feels like, hey, let the fans storm the field, man. I get all this protection and everything, but I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like a lot of these new rule changes that are coming in sports and everything. Like, I don't like sports getting softer, man. I get we got to protect the players and all that stuff, but one of the best feelings the best feelings I ever was storming a field after we won. It was my senior year, so like if we lost this game, my career's over. I don't get a chance to go to the playoffs. Instead, we win the game on a walk-off touchdown, and career gets to move on. We stormed the field for that. That was like that's one of the best moments in my sports life. Not even just like life, but one of the best moments in life in general is just watching my boy Amari, shout out Amari, run into the end zone, and just the fact of how excited everyone was on the sideline. So you're telling me, like, obviously we're in the NAI, so this is a bit different, but for that situation right there, for us storming the field being exciting, $500,000 fine. Like, that's just, I don't like that. I don't like it too much, and like I said, I don't like how the NCAA is expanding. They want to expand the March Madness bracket. I didn't like anything that they came out and said about this court storming. Like I said, I get the safety of the players and all the safety of that, but it's just like, I like the excitement of the sport, man. Like, those are some of the moments that really, really, truly bring people together is celebration. One of the easiest way to bring people together, celebration. I can't tell you how awesome those feelings were of, like, victories. Hey, let's go to the bars after victories. Let's go do this after victories. Let's go, hey, after a homecoming game, let's go hang out outside the field with the homecoming people. Like, that stuff is a really, really awesome part of sports, and it's one of the easiest way to link, like, because, I mean, you see it all the time when the fans storm the field. There's nothing better than watching fans storm the field. You see one of the players that's really close with, like, the group of students or the group of fans or whatever, and they're all, like, hugging, they're all embracing all that. I mean, we saw with DJ Burns a couple of years ago in the March Madness how he went to the cheerleaders after the game, went to the band after the game, and everyone's excited. Like, that's truly a moment of sports because, like, you forget sometimes just being an entity or being, like, the big body. It's like, these are, like, still people, and individual, like, people with feelings, with emotions and all that, so... Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this, and I hope fans keep storming the field because, like I said, I want players to be safe. We don't need to fight. We don't need to do any of that stupid shit. But I like the idea of fans storming the field and celebrating with their team because truly, I mean, it's one of the best feelings. One of the best feelings in sports watching a team walk off in an upset at home, like beating the number 1 or number 2 team, and you just watch the whole stands flood into the field. I mean, that is truly like, I was getting chills talking about it now, man. That's like, for me, I love sports, and I love moments like that. Final thing I want to bring up is the Hall of Fame class of 2026. There's a ballot officially out. We got some headliners with Heisman Trophy winners Mark Ingram, Cam Newton, and Robert Griffin III are the headliners for... Oh, and Ndamukong Suh as well are the headliners for the College Football 2026 ballot. Apparently... They released the ballot on Monday. I want to see what some of the names are. They released it. It includes 79 players and 9 coaches from the football subdivision and 100 players and 35 coaches from the lower levels. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes of this, obviously. Ndamukong Suh, I mean, you want to talk about Mark Ingram, dominant. Ndamukong Suh, dominant. Cam Newton had a couple years, and he was really, really dominant his year. I mean... She was the first defensive lineman in 15 seasons to be named a finalist for the Heisman Trophy in 2009. This is a defensive lineman, by the way, being named for the finalist. We'll never see that in the modern times, which just goes to show you how dominant he truly, truly was. Shout out to all these college players, truly, because, I mean, that's truly something special. I was going to go try to read some of the names just for some examples, but I guess other players we got... Brad Banks, Eric Bieniemy, Des Bryant, Kajana Carter, Aaron Donald, Marvin Harrison, Josh Heupel, James Laurinaitis, Ryan Leaf, Marshawn Lynch, Simeon Rice, Peter Warwick. So, I mean, we got some big, big names coming up on this list. So, it's going to be exciting to see who ends up making that list. But thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. I really do appreciate it. Didn't plan on today being too big of a show, like I said. It was just pretty much a get on, just to let you know, like, hey, need a little bit more time to finish this out because, like I said, the plans for Thursday now are I'm pretty much going to give you my favorite futures. I'm only going to give you probably 10 to 15, top. I haven't decided the name of it yet, but basically it's like top 10 or top 15 favorite futures going into the I haven't decided if I want to do both NFL and college football or just combine them and say. So, like, I don't know if I want to do, like, because, like, that would be too many. But, like, my top 20 favorite futures going into the NFL and college football season, or if I want to do, like, top 15 for both of those. That's something I'm kind of deciding on. But, yeah, Thursday is pretty much going to be the start of our breakdown series. I'll go over a little bit more news on Thursday, and then I'm pretty much going to go over, like I said, my favorite futures that are out right now for college football and NFL. I have about, I think, 6 to 8 placed. I have another, basically, what is that, 12 that I really am going to be, like, I really love to play soon, but I'm just kind of holding off on the money aspect of it because, I won't lie to you, shout out to them Pacers OKC finals. Pacers have been doing, knock on wood, Pacers have been really nice to me this playoff run, so I've been kind of trying to put some more funds into that to be like, all right, let's see if we can maximize the units before we put out some of these futures and everything. But yeah, like I said, the plan for Thursday is pretty simple. Go over NFL news and give you either my top 15 or like top 15 NFL and college football futures, or like top 10 NFL and top 10 college football futures. So regardless, you're getting 15 to 20 futures on Thursday. And then next week, we will officially begin like the AFC North, NFC North. We'll begin those breakdowns with 2 teams each day, 2 teams on Tuesday, 2 teams on Thursday. And we'll do that all the way. And that pretty much will be all the shows till August, where I'll break down some news, see if anything's big. And then start off with breaking down some news. And then the second half of the episode is breaking down 2 teams and some bets we need to look at for those teams. Man, I can't wait, people. It's truly exciting. I mean, we're, like I said, we're 93 days away. Shout out. Special number. That was your boy's football number, so something special about that 93 number. 93 days away. Episode 250 today. Man. Love it, man. Shout out my boy Rowan, but love it, man. Appreciate all the support. Thank y'all for watching. Really do appreciate it, like I said. And I will see everyone back in this feed on Thursday for not only to go over some more news, if there's any big news that comes out, but it's the official beginning of futures.